Yes, what up, team? Thought I'd do a little video just to explain whereabouts I'm at since coming off social media and getting rid of my smartphone. I mean, about 2 weeks in now, and what I have noticed the most is just the presence I'm carrying in every day. And funnily enough, other people are noticing it too. Because when I'm out and about, or just in every single moment, no matter where I am, whether I'm out on a walk now, whether I'm out in public, whether I'm even just sat at home chilling, I'm not distracted or pulled by anything. Because when you've got your phone on you, even when you're not on it, it still has some form of magnetism. Like you want to just pick it up, or you want to go on it. You feel inclined to, or you feel drawn to be on the thing all the time. I know I did personally. I'd spend way too much time on it. Just little like 5-minute, 10-minute scrolls in between doing what you're doing and stuff. Like even that, it might seem something minute, but the sensory overload that you're giving your brain just off that 5-minute scroll is, well, we're not biologically evolved to hold that level of stimulus, and we just get addicted to the dopamine that the phone gives us. I mean, I was heavily addicted to it, and I didn't actually realize how addicted to that stimulation I was until I've decided to come off it. And I can honestly say I don't miss it one bit, and I can also say that I will not be returning to that life. I will not be getting a smartphone again. There's been quite a few hoops I've had to jump through. There's been quite a few obstacles I've had to navigate along the journey, but I'm just taking it as, yeah, I'm going to have to take some sacrifices from convenience, but in return, I'm getting my peace back, I'm getting time back, I'm getting presence in every single waking day. So through that, my thoughts, I know, are unpolluted. The thoughts that I have are mine. I can honestly say that. Or I've extracted the information from the ether. I'm not downloading or consuming other people's ideologies or other people's ways of thinking and then adopting them and convincing or believing that they are my own. Where in some part that can be beneficial if what you're consuming is benefiting your higher self, your mission, or benefiting the goals you want to achieve. But still, when you're getting it from your phone, i.e. in small hits of dopamine and the stimulation from scrolling, you aren't in control of what you see on that phone. The algorithm is in control of what you consume. AI is in control of what you consume. And they're curating your newsfeed. On any platform this is. It's that advanced now. They're curating your platform to completely feed you, what they believe, what they know you want to see, which gets you even more hooked and convinces you even more that what you're doing is productive, because what you're watching and what you're listening to is aligned with what you're thinking about in that present moment. And not only that, to add that phone in your pocket is a built-in microphone and is listening to every word that you say. If you start saying hairspray, 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 if that heard you say hairspray 10,000 times, fucking hell, 5 times in a day, guess what? It's going to happen when you open your phone. You're going to get ads about hairspray. So it's not only what you're consuming, it's also listening to you from the microphone. When you're having conversations out in public, I started thinking, who's actually like, where is this information going that I'm speaking on this phone? And not even out of paranoia, just simple that I'm not actually ever private when I've got this phone on me, because I'm continuously, this voice that when I'm speaking, the phone is picking every single thing I say up for marketing purposes. And there is actually, I think, the settings on your phone where you can actually clock that. So the phone's like, it's always constantly listening to you. So you're never actually alone in reality when you've got your phone. But we kind of like that because the phone gives us the comfort as well. So it's like a dummy, isn't it? You put your dummy in put the dummy in, you're soothed again. And the phone's the exact same thing. Or if you're American, it's an adult pacifier. Because we don't sit in silence anymore. But funnily enough, this past week, since I've been off the phone, it took me a week to adjust because I had so many different changes I needed to make. Things like, obviously, I've got my phones now was used for the maps on the car, so I'm having to buy a sat nav. I'm having to get CDs for my car to play my music instead of streaming on Spotify. What else is there? Towards the end of the list, I'm going to do another video speaking a little bit more depth on the exact changes I've made, but there's a lot of things I needed to do in order to adjust to this change. And But what I've enjoyed the process because it took me a little bit, but it's took me back to my youth a little bit as well, because I'm doing things I used to do back in like 08 or 12, which I've always said is my favourite era, hands down. That was the best era. It was only like, it was a stint of like 4 or 5 years, but that was like, it was just before social media come in, and was in the I was on the BlackBerry era. And yeah, that was like it was like Bebo, MySpace, BlackBerry. Yeah, it was like that sort of era there. That was the best time, man. MSN, calling your mates on MSN, and yeah, it was. We used to get your PlayStation games. I took my PlayStation, my monitor, my cheap monitor, and my games round to my friend's house, and I'd stay there all weekend. I'd set my computer up next to him, and we'd be gaming together all weekend. You know, things like that. I mean, we don't do anything like that anymore. I even bought a PS3 just for old time's sake, just to get that nostalgia, playing all the old Call of Duties and stuff. You can still get lobbies on there online, actually, funnily enough, online, even though the game's like 15, 16 year old. But that was just another thing, because I'm kind of revisiting them years of my life where I was genuinely free, and I was genuinely thinking my own thoughts. I wasn't polluted by social media and what I was seeing online. And around about the similar time, I started going out drinking and socialising more. So obviously the drink, drugs, party life corrupted my mind a little bit more as well. That corrupted my lifestyle. And around about the same time, I think Instagram come out, and then I got introduced to partying around about 14 years old, I think I was. I went to my first festival, so that opened that doors. And then I was like, I'm too cool for gaming, I'm too cool for all chilling with my mates, and you start doing what the crowd's doing. And then from there, I started being the sheep, fitting in line with everybody else, starting to try and work my way up the social hierarchy and rankings and all that stuff, the things that you do when you're a little bit younger to try and gain validation and respect from your peers. And it's not only until now, until I've come off this phone, did I realise I've been sucked in this loop for the past 15 years. And it is almost like I've woken up from my 15-year days. Hence why I have gone back to the era before social media come along, because I'm trying to revisit and retouch them times in my life, because they were so fruitful, and there was where my fondest memories reside. And it's not even to kind of dig up the past and relive my past. It is to a certain extent, but it's more to cherry pick the golden things and the things I really loved about myself and my life back then, and implement them back into my life now, bring them back alive, start reigniting that inner child within me, that teenager, that boy that is still inside me, that I've just chose to suppress and hide from, because, well, I wanted to grow up. I wanted to be a big man. I wanted to be a masculine man in this world and prove my status and my worth. And that's took me 15 years to go through this cycle of repeat, like doing this big loop, and I've just come back to myself. So I've gone through all this 15 years trying to find something, this amazing antidote that's going to fix everything and bring me the validation, respect, status, woman that I desire, or the love. I think it all comes down to that. I was seeking some form of love through building these identities that I could present to the world. Like, look, I am this guy now, so please love me and like me. That's what it all boils down to. And then it's just took me through this big cycle of destruction, lessons, unraveling, pain, heartache, but it's took me back to myself. I haven't become this spiritual, enlightened monk who sits in the forest. I mean, I do a bit of that all day and is super successful and rich and famous. No, I've just come back to myself, and I feel like I am home again. I'm back home. Hence, once again, why I've been revisiting these elements or these places, these parts of my life where I felt like myself, where I was most at home, uncorrupted, pure. And I've been able to tap into that as soon as I come off the phone. And I had no distractions, no space. People can only get hold of me now if I want them to get hold of me. You only have my number now if I have give you my number personally. And that is a very select, minute people who I love and who I trust. And that's what I like. Because despite me being all public on social media and being out there, and I like to speak online, I like to express myself publicly. But in terms of my personal life, I like to keep that private. I don't share much about my inner circle or my personal life online, because I like to keep that, I like to keep it tight. I like to keep it private. I've met too many people, and I have been, what's the word I'm looking for? Been betrayed and let down, and I've learnt so many lessons along this journey, so I know now who I can and can't trust in this life. And from now on, I'm happy with the people I have around me. I've got some good, solid people that I love and care about, and vice versa around in my circle now. So any additional people that come in, the quality of relationships that I'm going to be building with them is going to be solid. The foundations are going to be solid. The reason why, they can't build a rapport or an identity or an idea of me because I'm not online. Only thing that they can take of what they know of me, let's say I meet a girl in a coffee shop, for example. We get chatting. I exchange, brilliant, good to chat. What's your number? I take a number. I pull out my BlackBerry. She puts the number in the BlackBerry. I give her my name. More than likely, if you exchange numbers with somebody and meet someone in public, or if genuinely just get chatting and you give them your name, guarantee you now they're going to do some background checks on you. They're going to be searching you up on social media and have a little look. I used to do it. If I met a pretty girl and I got chatting to her, I'd probably have a look online to see a profile just to try and paint some picture of what I want her to, what I perceive her to be, or try and build up some form of idea of this woman, or anyone for that matter. Doesn't even necessarily need to be the opposing sex. But now, the only thing that these women or the people that I meet going forward can take from me is what I show them, so that all they can see is me. They can't build up this makeshift idea in their head based off what they see on social media, because I don't have social media. Yeah, they might be able to look me up on YouTube and listen to a few of these videos, of course, but I very highly doubt, like, it's very unlikely. You're more than likely searching someone on Instagram or Facebook, or even TikTok, but you very rarely search. But even if they do, I mean, this is me being myself. This is me expressing myself, because this space on YouTube that I've created, the reason why I've kept it open, it feels pure. I feel like I can be my true self on here, whereas I didn't feel like that on Instagram. And maybe that's something that I need to work on, but it just felt too stimulating and too much eyes on, and I didn't like the people that was looking at my stuff, and the fact that they can just message me. Like, because I post things online, people they misjudge that and believe that you're open now. Like, your inbox is open, you can message me and chat to me at any time. We're friends because you watch me on social media, you listen to what I say on my stories, so we're friends and we can talk. And listen, I'm open. I will talk to anyone, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have access to me just because I post on social media. You need to have them boundaries up, and this is why I like YouTube, and this is why I'm posting on here, because people don't, I mean, yeah, I love chatting to people in the comments, and I love speaking to people who resonate and relate to me, but the access is a little bit more limited. And I like that, because once again, to get in my inner circle or to work me on a personal level, I need to trust you. There needs to be some form of relationship built in order to get that now. Whereas it didn't used to be like that. But yeah, for example, I meet someone now, they can't do no backtrack check on me. They don't know who I am. They don't know, all they know is what I tell them. And what I tell them is going to be the true me. So they can't make any judgment. And it adds depth, I think. It adds way more depth. It adds a kind of subtle mystery to your identity, because when do you meet someone in this day and age, especially my generation, Gen Z, who doesn't have social media? It's very, very rare, very rare. And this is the ideas that I've come up with, and this is the things that I've recognised just recently, just through navigating the world. And what I've also realised is, in terms of, like, if I want to meet someone new now, unfortunately, I don't have the privilege of posting things online and chatting to people on social media. Once again, yeah, I have the YouTube and I connect with some amazing people on here through the comments, and even some people I have let in on the inner circle as well. But yeah, I don't have that privilege anymore. So I'm now pushed now to being more social. I've been going out miles more. I've been way more social. I've been going out into social environments more. I feel like my confidence is coming back online. I'm feeling pulled to start conversations with women that I feel some form of attraction with. And I can actually notice the attraction now, because I'm not like always looking at my phone, and I'm not tied into all these women that I'm looking at on social media. Now when I'm out in public, I recognize the energy straight away. And then it's up to me. Do I want to act on this? I ask the question, do I want to pursue this? And even if it is just a sort of thing, like if I'm in a restaurant, for example, and like, there's some attraction with the waiter, and I can feel that energy between us, I just say, hi, I've liked your energy today. Can I take you for a coffee one time? What's your number? Get the number. And then it's up to me then. I'll let it sit. Do I want to pursue this with this woman? I can take them for a coffee. If it passes first base, brilliant. If not, that's fine too. But you realise the abundance of people and connections and opportunities are in the real world once you start immersing yourself and being aware of it a lot more. Because I have outward intention now, when I go into an environment, I'm looking to connect with people. I'm not looking to, whereas I was antisocial before and I didn't realise it. I didn't want to speak to people. I felt socially awkward or a little bit anxious because I'm not used to, or I wasn't as used to starting conversations in person, just going up to someone and igniting a conversation because I've spent too much time on my phone. But now, because I'm not on the phone, I'm feeling way more pulled to just going out and chatting to people. I give females as the example, because I know that as the men listening, that's probably what you want to hear. And it is good to know because you realise that, hold on a minute, I've got no confidence chatting to women. Maybe it's the phone, because I haven't. When was the last time, ask yourself, when was the last time you actually approached a woman in public and started a conversation with her? How do you feel when you think about doing that in public? How does that make you feel? I know for me, I felt anxious about that. And it is a little bit of a nerve-wracking situation, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you feel, because what's the worst case scenario? You get a rejection, then you're back to where you started. The more than likely, she's just going to say, I have a boyfriend. Even if she doesn't, she'll tell you she has a boyfriend. And then you're like, oh, brilliant, no, nice to chat. On your way. But you're not lost an opportunity. At least you know where you're at, instead of just leaving loops open. Even with someone you might have a connection with, a male friend. Like, you feel like you've got some form of connection. Like, go and chat to him, man, and just say hello. What's going on? Just start a conversation. Yes, bro, just start a conversation about what you're doing in your environment. Anything. Small talk and let it develop. Like, don't be worried about feeling awkward. And even if there is little bits of silence, that's good. It's healthy. Get comfortable sitting in that silence and that uncomfortability. Because the more you can train yourself to do that, the more comfortable you begin to feel. The more people you approach and you start conversations with, and the more your nervous system then starts to learn, I didn't die this time. And you start to get some form of success, i.e., yeah, you might get the number off the woman. That's a good dopamine hit. That also retrains your brain and your nervous system to rewire itself to understand that you are safe to do this. You are not going to die. Because that's what it all comes down to, self-preservation. We don't approach people in case of rejection, because rejection back in your ancestor time, rejection from the tribe meant potential death. And our biology, once again, is still hardwired on these ancient codes. We're not hardwired to be stimulated from the phones. We haven't evolved for that yet. We're nowhere near. Maybe in another 100 years we might do, but right now we don't. Our nervous system is still in ancient times, hence why we feel anxious when we're about to approach someone, because if we get rejection, it may mean death. But the more you do it, the more your nervous system begins to feel safe, so the more confident you feel. This is how it works. So yeah, the first couple of times when I'm like approaching people, since I got off the phone, I felt well anxious, but I understood what was going on, and a couple of times I flopped. I did. I went to approach a woman and I flopped. I didn't do it. And I could have beat myself up about that, but I recognise what's going on now. I'm going to do a spin it. But I recognise what's going on. I give myself the patience and compassion because I've been glued to this phone for that long. I've pulled my social confidence and my energy out of myself. I've pulled it out of myself because I've been too hooked on the phone and reliant on the phone to make connections, too reliant on social media to make connections. And this is what the people who've created these platforms want to do. They want to disconnect everyone, keep everyone glued to these phones and online, thinking they're all connected to everyone in the world, but really you're just staring at a fucking phone whilst being super duper disconnected, anxious and unconfident when stepping in the real world, unable to start conversations with people in your environment. People who you may see every day, you might see them every day and never even spoken to them. This person, you never know what opportunity could present itself if you just start the conversation. Can you tell I feel passionate about this? Because this is something that I've been able to see in my own mind. And I'm like, wow, I genuinely feel like I'm going to stop for this. I've been born again. I feel like I'm alive again. I feel like I've finally come online because I'm like now being able to recognize the abundance of opportunities that are already around me in my environment. I do not need social media. I've got abundance of beautiful, amazing people around me in endless environments. And if you're not in the environments, put yourself in there. If you do decide to do what I've done and take yourself offline, you will be more inclined. You might sign up to a new gym with a new environment. I'm at a busy gym. You might even end up getting two gym memberships. You might start doing a new hobby. You might start entering different community. You might start doing a yoga class. Do you know, there's so many different things you can do to get that community in, and you just get chatting to people. You start meeting new people. And yeah, not every person is going to be the friend for life, but you're still building that rapport. You're still having that social connection, and it's so healthy. As humans, we starve ourselves of that. As humans right now in this day and age, we are deprived of that more than ever. We lack social human connection now more than ever. And I genuinely think there's a big crisis going on, and it's either going to go one or two ways. The pendulum's going to swing and more people are going to start doing what I'm doing, or everyone's going to double down and go even more anxious, disconnected, depressed and fearful in this modern world. And it is scary when you look at it like that, how disconnected we've all become. If you look at just say like 10 years ago, 2016, the world was fruitful because everyone was we was on job. Was out connecting, chatting, everyone was social all the time. Because we wasn't heavily on the phones and the devices, we was pushed to go in these environments. And I just feel like being out and about people all the time. I've realised how much I love people. I love people more than anything. And I'm like, why I didn't want to... I started to actually get a form of hate. Not hate, but dislike to people. Because, and it was my way of protecting myself from the social anxiety that I felt, because I didn't want to disconnect. I didn't want to connect with people, or I didn't feel like I was comfortable enough to be connecting with people in the real world all the time. So I developed this armor of disliking people before I even knew them, making a judgment of disliking them. So then I didn't have to chat to them. It was easier for me to do that and start like say, yeah, no, I want to be on my own all the time. I like solitude, and I do. That is the truth. I do love my solitude, and I do love peace. But through that, me able to enjoy my peace and my solitude, that allows me to now be of service and express myself truly to other people as well. I can fully be myself because I've filled my own cup. I feel whole and content in my own energy on my own. So that means when I get around people, I can be fully present with them. I don't feel inclined to be picking up my phone anymore either. I've not got my phone on me. I can just, when I'm going out for food, I am fully immersed in that moment, in that food. I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm not sitting there scrolling on my phone. I went for food with two of my friends yesterday, and like in between like bits and bats of things, I was watching them. I was sat there chilling, waiting for my food, just taking in my surroundings and in my environment, perving on the waiter, and they was just scrolling on the phone. And I asked them, I said, did you see that waiter? She had fucking pink hair, yeah, bright pink hair. I said, did you see that waiter after? She was all right, weren't she, a little cutie? And they said, what waiter? I said, the one that served us with bright pink hair. And they couldn't even remember. And it's because they were so immersed in what's going on in their minds and on the phone, they couldn't even identify somebody who's just been a human being that has just been serving them and in contact with them with bright pink hair as well. But it's just an example of like how detached we've come from our environment and our surroundings, and how disconnected we've become from our environment, our surroundings, and the people around us. And I've been able to luckily rebuild these connections again and started to bridge this connection back to my environments and to the people that are already around me. So yeah, I think I just feel alive again. I feel like a little child again, genuinely. I feel like a teenage boy, but with the adult vessel, i.e. my habits are intact. I've got good solid routines. And I know the last thing I'm going to final this video on is that ever since I got off the phone, my compulsiveness has stopped, because when I was getting off the phone in the evening, I was reaching to my vices quite a lot, and it was leading me to patterns of destruction, or my habits weren't the best. I started eating a bit more food and smoking and stuff like that, and it's because of the stimulation I was getting from the phone. When I didn't have the phone, I was reaching for something else. But since I got rid of the phone, the habits, I've not feel any urge to act out these habits in the evening. I have been going to the gym and having a sauna and so doing some stretching at night as well, just to get that little hit of dopamine at the end of the day in replacement for the phone. I'm having a few games on COD 4, COD 5 as well, and COD 4, COD 5, MW2 and Black Ops 1. That's the era. If you know, you know. Anyone after that, yeah, they were dead. They fell off a cliff. So I've been having a few games of that online, but that's fine. Do you know, I'm not doing it till 4 a.m. and fucking being stupid. I'm just giving myself that little bit of stimulation and that little bit of dopamine in the evening, and it keeps me, yeah, it's fine. I'm able to stabilise, and I'm not reaching for my vices anymore because I'm not stimulated all day from the phone, and I'm not reliant on something at night then as well to keep maintaining that stimulation. So yeah, we're on 25 minutes here, 26, so I'm going to sign out because I've done quite a bit of a ramble there, but it was, yeah, I think it's needed. So if any of you are planning on this move, just drop me a comment. You can message me privately. I'll be more than happy to help you navigate just the transition if you are really thinking about it and looking to do it. Drop a comment, and if you want to have a conversation with me personally, we can do that. I'll be more than happy to help. But yeah, I'm going to sign out on that, Earth Ones. Peace, love. I'll see you on the other side.